Hey everyone, it's Brandy, and you're watching Abstract Crafter. Today is exploring the essentials, all about the drill pens, and multi-placers, and fillers, and alternatives, and all of that fun stuff. We'll do some testing, we'll look some things over. I'll go over, I have just like 2 or 3 hacks that you can use these pens for, besides, using them as pens. And we also have some different types of fillers that you can use. I do have a testing video on fillers, but this will just be a more generic version of that. So if you want to learn some tips and tricks and techniques related to drill pens, then just keep on watching, and we'll get into that as soon as I roll that intro credit. Well, alright guys, why don't we get started? There's a lot to talk over, and we all know how rambly I get when it comes to doing videos like this, that I don't write a script for or even bullet points. I gotta learn. But let's talk about what we're gonna talk about, huh? Well, obviously this is gonna be about drill pens. I have an abundance of them, as you can imagine. Oh, there's more. And that's not including the ones that I use to make. I think I wasted about 10 making drill pens. And I used some and I've bought some. But honestly, is this one that I got from Diamond Art Club for no other reason than it's a loner in the crowd. I have the pick-me-up pen, and we'll talk about that. Oh, see, I have yet another bag there because there are so many. We're going to talk about tweezers, and more tweezers, and more tweezers. And we'll talk about specialty drill pens, why you might want one. I got a bag of multi-placers here. We'll talk about those. We'll talk about wax. I got this idea from Donnie. We'll talk about other fillers. I have a bag of fillers there. I keep breaking chunks of that off. I've been giving it away since I bought it, and I still have so much of it. And I have never used more than the first square I cut off of each one of those waxes. I'm just grabbing all the materials because this is everything that we'll be using to talk about, to demonstrate. I do have a few other diamond placing things that I do want to try in the future. I haven't had a whole lot of interest in it, but I know that there's the jewel picker, and there's every day it's like I'm seeing something new. I know that quite a few of our fellow diamond painting YouTubers have become quite successful in making their own drill pens, so I want to congratulate all of the people on that, because I just made 6 for a giveaway, 7 including this one, and I never want to make them again. I don't even want to make them for myself. So we have all of this stuff, and this is all the things that go along with adhering drills, and this isn't even a portion of the stuff that you can get for that. So obviously I have quite the collection of drill pens. Most of the time I don't use them. I just stick them in here. I think these are the only ones that have stuff in them. But I can clean them out, and that's kind of why I wanted to mention that, so I can show you some things that go along with how you can clean them out. Some just like general maintenance things and the different styles, because amongst these are different styles. I put them in baggies according to their size and style, but obviously I ended up having to get another one, and we'll talk some more about this toward the end there. I want to demonstrate using the multi-placers. I don't have like the roller or anything like that. I just have the basics when it comes to that stuff, but I have a bunch of 3-placers. And then we got the 4-placers. I just started getting those, and I got these from Lucy from Star Wars. So those are 3-placers. We will talk about 6-placers, 7-placers, 9-placers, and 10-placers. There's literally 6 different tips you can get now from various places. So I'll demonstrate those. I don't know if we'll do all 6 because it's like, you know, the 3 and the 4 are going to be, oops, I just kicked my stuff. The 3 and the 4 are going to be similar. The 6 and the 7 are going to be similar. And the 9 and the 10 are going to be similar. So I don't think we need to do all 6. We'll see how time's going. I'm going to talk a little bit about some fillers that I have tried. And I did have a whole video on this, as I mentioned in the intro. I never did do a follow-up on what I actually like out of the, like, I guess, poster tacks that I've tried so far. And waxes, too. This is all I've kept from my waxes. I almost was going to put them all into this jar. But then I came across that one 4-pack from Saner Direct in which I couldn't even use my poster tack, so I had no choice but to use putty. And just on them, that's how much I went through of this wax. These are usually pretty full, and I went through, let's see if we were to flatten that back out, I went through like a half of a thing of wax on those, and I that's why I don't like the pink wax. Some people don't mind it, but me personally, I don't like it because you go through it way too quick, and it leaves a lot more behind than I feel like the poster tacks do if you fill them right. And I do have some techniques for filling so that you don't overfill your pen. This is my little kit, and you can see how dirty it is because I scrape off all of my extra into this right away. This is the Jot poster tack. I don't like that as much because it's really sticky and it tends to come out of the pen. But as you can see, I've mixed all 3 of mine, well, 4 together, and I find that that's the best. And it's got a little bit of, like, I leave it out, and we'll talk more about that, but I leave it out and I let it get a little bit of a coating on it, like a little hard, so it's not super soft and super pliable. And I find that that's like it's a lot cleaner than when you use it fresh. But we'll talk more about those. I don't know if we need to talk about these, but these are all the different Grippies that I've gotten. I used to use them. You can see here that this one's quite dirty. And like these 2, I used to think I needed to get a new one every time I did a new project. Obviously, you don't need to do that. And I realized that quite soon too. I actually realized that I don't really need them. I tend to write, like, show you. I put a lot of pressure on my middle finger right there. And I actually have a, I'm not flipping you off, I'm sorry. You can see how it's really dry there, and I actually have a permanent indent if you compare it to the other middle finger. So I don't really, the grips don't do anything to help. And yes, this one's missing one because of something we'll talk about. It's missing its little end. These were given to me, well, this is Fred. This is the original Fred. If you don't know about Fred, then you're probably new. But my older watchers will know exactly who Fred is. Faceless Fred was my first gimmicky drill pen, let's say. He used to light up. His light does still work. Shine it at you. And it actually looks better now without the tip on it. But then he broke, like his face broke. You can see it's cracked and it wouldn't stay on. So I had to kill him off. And his little end pieces are actually now in the only other diamond painting pen I ever made for myself in this mermaid tail pen. And so then Donnie sent me these ones that she had that she doesn't use. But you can see it doesn't leave as much of a light. And the pink one really doesn't leave a light at all. That one's almost dead. Whereas this is a really nice light. They are meant to be able to show you what you're drilling at night, I guess. Which, at that rate, for the month that these things cost around $7 to $8 on Amazon, you could just save a few more dollars and get a light pad. That's the only thing that we haven't done in this video, but I don't really use one. So, okay, so these are some just spare drills that will not match DMC. They're from the Daz kit that I got once upon a time, and they don't match DMC numbers, period. So they are now used for demonstration, and this is the first chance they get for that. This is another gimmicky pen I bought. It's got a square tip on it. Focus. I can't focus because there's so much. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and it's got the wax in the cap, which I don't like because everything sticks to it. And it's not really good wax. It just kind of falls apart super easily, and obviously everything sticks to it. So I don't really like that they put wax right in the cap like that. It wouldn't be bad if this is one of the most useless pens I've ever gotten. It doesn't really pick up drills for nothing. I'll demonstrate it. And look how much it's discolored. It's so yellow. I mean, that's probably from me smoking, but still, it ended up getting yellow. And this came with the Crazy Art. Sorry, Crazy Art diamond kit that I got. And you can't even like see what you're putting down with this because it's just super impractical for diamond painting. So then I also, like I said, got the Pick Me Up pen. I love this pen, but it is really bulky. Nope. Wrong way. It's really bulky, and it tends to get in my way when I'm diamond painting. I don't have a lot of accuracy with it. It's not bad when I'm using tweezers, and then I use this to fill in between when I don't need as much accuracy. But overall, I do like it, and we'll get more into that. I just want to finish the overview. And then, of course, tweezers and more tweezers. I've come across there's like 4 styles of tweezers, but 2 of them are super similar. I kept them together. So there's 3 styles of tweezers that I have gotten throughout diamond painting, not including the black tip ones that you get here. And I do have another set of exactly like this. I just didn't grab it because it's branded much like this one. So I didn't think it was the ones Huacan gives out when they run out of their printed ones. So we do have these ones. So we'll talk about, oh, maybe I did grab them. Oh, I did. Well, look at me being all proficient. So I've gotten them from 4 companies, including these ones that are rounded at the tips. I got this really nice set from Realis, and I got this one from a container that I got. So we'll talk about why a good pair of tweezers is important. And I've wasted 12 minutes already just going over the basic materials without even talking about what we do with those materials. So first things first, let's just talk about the basic drill pens. So these ones you get are clear, and they have little sparklies in them. I get them from any Diamond Dots in any company that they make pens for. I think I've also gotten them from Diamond Art Club before they switched to the blue pen. Huacan gives these ones out, and quite a few companies now, especially AZQSD and Evershine, which are the Huacan sister companies, also give these out. There's a significant difference with some of these, if I can find it. Maybe it's right there. I don't know. It's not going to be super easy to find, but some of these will have really long chambers and some will have short. I mean, it's millimeters of a difference, but it just shows how much you can fill inside of there. And if you can see the hole right down in the middle, that you can get wax that'll, once you've used your pen enough, it'll start filling down in there. And you can kind of see on mine, the one that I use the most often, that there's a little bit of gunk down there, but not a whole lot, because I try to keep it as clean as possible. But that is how I lost my tip for this one, because it started filling in the neck here, and I wanted to take that piece out to try to clean it, and the stuff stayed in the neck. You can see, maybe better this way. The gunk stayed in the neck, but I lost the tip. So luckily for me, I have 2. And honestly, I don't really care what pen I have. I just like the blue one for some reason. I think because, like I said, it's so different from the pink ones. But you can see I have one different one here that's like a dark pink. That's the only other different one that I've gotten when it comes to the pink ones. But these do come in 2 different sizes as well. You can see, I'll just take them out. You get a short one, and the short ones are typically the ones, not always. So, but most of the time, you'll get the short ones when they already have the multi-placers on them. So you can see there's some long and some short, and I know they're not like exact, but and then if you do it this way, you can see. So you do get multiple sizes in those. The white ones are the longer ones, or the clear ones, the white ones, are longer, as well as the Diamond Art Club ones are longer. So the short ones are more atypical. Now, if we talk more about specialty pens, and then we'll get into multi-placers. We'll start with this one. We'll move these guys off. We don't need them right now. The Pick Me Up pen is really nice, and it is refillable. I do have a video on there where you can actually watch me fail a couple of times trying to fill this before I actually get it. But it is fillable if you can get this piece all the way off and get this piece out. The first time it's really hard because it's got all the sticky stuff on it. Like I said, I learned the hard way. And then for some reason I thought I'd scrape everything out before I refilled it, which was, I don't know why I thought that, but... So for this one, if you don't know, it twists in there, but to get this to extend, you just give it a little twist, not much, just a small twist, and it will expel enough to be able to pick up diamonds. And why don't I put some in a tray so we can actually show you some of this stuff. I want to use the bright pink ones because I think they're the prettiest. So you can see, you just need a tiny bit, and if you twist too much, a ton of that stuff will come out, and you can see it's still coming out because I did grab too much. But you can just easily pick them up then. And this has actually been sitting for a long time. It's got a nice like hard coating over the top. So when that happens, you can literally just scrape across the top. Maybe not with your nail, but it's nice and flush, so you don't need to have that extended out any further. And there you go. There is another one on the market as well. This one is from Silhouette. I don't know what it's called. I think I have it in my influencer page. Either way. But they are very nice, and it does have a really handy tool at the end that has a sharp point and a scraper point. They work so nice for getting drills off the canvas that don't belong, or for getting the wax out from under your nail that doesn't belong from just scraping it off. Dumb. So yeah, that I do quite enjoy this pen. It is a little bulky, but it's not so bulky that it's uncomfortable in the hand. Some people don't like how thick it is. I've never found that to be really bothersome. It sits pretty comfortably into my hand. Again, then we'll go back to Fred. I love Fred. I love the way, I like how short and stubby he is. As you can see, he sits in my hand really nicely. But unfortunately, the head kept popping off and literally coming apart. But you can see, if we take this part off, you can take the batteries out and replace them, or replace the light that way if you want. I don't know. I don't know if I should try to put him back together right now. So yeah, Fred died. I used him up until the day he died. He was a good friend, and we did a lot of paintings together, and it was a nice joke for a while there. And then Donnie went through her stash. Oops, see, his head just won't stay on anymore. And she sent me hers that she has. But by the time they got to me, I fell in love with a new pen. So you can get these in all different kinds of, like, my Fred used to look like this, like the pink one. You can get them in owl. I've seen them in with the pig faces. And one thing that a lot of people recommend is taking a clear coat nail polish and just putting that over the face so it doesn't rub off. Which, by the time I thought to do that, it was already too late, and most of Fred was gone. And so it just became a joke on my channel for a little while, Faceless Fred. I thought I'd get this one just to try it because I saw it. It kept popping up on Amazon. It's got, like I said, the square tip on it. I have messed with it a little bit, but it's another thing where I find it really bulky and it gets in the way a lot. It's hard to see what I'm doing with it. It is bendable, so it can bend to whatever shape you want. They call that a comfort bend. And again, it's got the goop in the cap. So you could, if you didn't like this stuff, you could take it out and put your own in there. It would be good for traveling. And you can see the goop in there. It does pick up really nicely. It almost picks up super easily. So it is good wax. And it's like a marker cap, so it doesn't screw on or anything. Alright. And then, of course, there's the world of custom diamond painting pens. And you will find a plethora of those on Facebook and on Etsy. And people even on YouTube. I did not enjoy taking them apart and making them. So I didn't. And besides, some people say, oh, you got that at the dollar store. It's cheap. But $1 a pen is not cheap, in my opinion. Not when you can buy 20 of them for like $2 at Walmart of regular pens. But it's a lot of work, and whatever price they're asking is well worth it for the amount of work that they put in, especially if you want something that's a little bit unique, that's fun for you. I do like this one a lot. It is a little long, so I don't really like filming with it because the tail tends to get in the way, and then it makes, as you can see, the rest of the background's very blurry because the camera's trying to focus on the tail itself. And I didn't bother to put a clear coat on it, so what was once a very vibrant pink, yellow, and green is now really dull all the way up to the tip. It doesn't bother me though. Even if this all rubbed off and it was just like silver or gray underneath, that would be okay with me. I just like the style of it. I love all things mermaid, all things unicorn, all things mythical and magical. So just the shape of it. And I did do a giveaway of these on all my platforms. So I did a multi-platform giveaway with those, and I had a lot of fun making them for that reason. But it's definitely not something I want to do long term. And again, I don't think we need to say much more about the comfort grips. I just wanted to show them as something that comes with. So then, I just want to throw out there that I found this gorgeous pen at Walgreens. I paid way too much for it, but it's a clicker pen, and I have not figured out, or a twist pen, I should say. I have not figured out how to convert that into a drill pen, or if I would just have to make it permanent like I did with this one. Like, there's no way that you can take this tip off for anything, and I think that might be what I'd have to do here, but it is really heavy too. It's very top heavy, so I worry that I might do something to lose it. But I love this pen, and if I can figure it out, I do want to convert it. It's so pretty. It's like a very light rose gold color, which is one of my favorite metals, my favorite metal colors. So for now, it stays in its little display until such a time in which I can convert it or figure out how to convert it. If anyone has some ideas for me, please share them or email me or whatever and let me know how you would do it. I am very scared because I don't want to ruin this pen. Like I said, I paid way too much for this pen, like $5 I think, which to me is a lot for a basic black pen. So then let's quickly talk about tweezers, because you get so many of them. And in this case, I have 3 different styles here. You get the ones with the slight tip, or slightly bent tip, the one with the incredibly angled tip, and then you get the ones that are just completely straight across. And these are all the very thin, cheap metal. Like, I can almost guarantee I could probably bend that. See, that's how thin they are. It was that easy to bend it. And you'll never get it back into shape again. So, let's get a different one out for demonstration. I'll show you. These aren't very good for diamond painting with themselves. Now, when you get into companies with really good toolkits, Realis obviously sent me, this is a bent tip one, and it works. It's nice and thick. It's not going to lose its shape. You're going to be able to continually, if you like this style, grab diamonds with it. It does grip them nicely. And this one I got with an actual jewelry making bead storage kit. It's really thick. I like using it to help me pull hairs out of my canvas. It's not ideal for diamond painting with. It's just way too blunt. I don't know. It's not doing a good job of showing you, but it's just way too blunt, too thick. It might be good for actual, like, big jewels when you're making jewelry, but it's not good for these little tiny ones. It just has a hard time gripping them. So I don't really like those ones. I showed you these ones. And then you get these ones here. Now this one I got from Star Roar. It's got the rounded tips. And I do like diamond painting with them. It's a little awkward because I'm not used to it. But it is really good for picking up the round drills. It grips them nicely. Oops. Not when you squeeze really hard like I just did. But it does grip them nicely. It's better for rounds than the pointy tip ones, because it wraps around them nicer. And whereas like these ones, they're very similar. Huacan and Evermoment, the quality is the same. The shape is just different. As you can see, Evermoment is a little bit more sleek and round, and Huacan is kind of squared off, which there's no difference in that. The only thing I don't like about these, they're very, very pointy, very, very sharp, is the tips lose their shape very easily. And I find that I have to go in and fix them. See, I've just fixed all of those. But all I do when I have to fix them is I have a pair of pliers that have no teeth on it. They're nice and flat. And so I just go in and I bend it just a little bit like that. And I kind of bend it inward. I know my camera is having a hard time focusing because there's just too much going on all around it in every direction. So, maybe if I move this, let's put that underneath. There we go. So I just take the tips, and it doesn't have to have no teeth. If the only kind of pliers you have are with teeth, then that's fine. So sometimes I'll just grab the tip, and I won't bend it a lot, because then you'll ruin it, but I do tend to take the tips and kind of bend them in a little bit with my tweezers, and that helps them regain their grip. Sometimes if the tip is a little bit bent on these ones, you can just straighten them out with the pliers in the same way, or squeeze them really tight, and you can reshape them really easily, but they do lose their shape quite, I don't know, I'd say after a day of use, I find that mine start losing their shape. And if they get the least bit of crap on them, like wax from your pen or whatever, then they have a hard time also, because they also have no teeth on them, which you don't really want for diamond painting. But these ones have a harder time picking up rounds. It has a hard time gripping them. Once you get it, you got it. But I do know that sometimes I have a hard time gripping the round ones with these really pointy tweezers. So it is nice to have these ones from Lucy, these blunt tip ones, because they scoop in and they like hug that. So it is nice to have a variety of tweezers, and it is nice to have a really good set of tweezers. If all you're ever given are these really cheap ones that bend super easily, then you do what you gotta do. They'll do the job, as you can see here, but they're going to lose their shape much faster, and you're not going to be able to replace that. So that's the only unfortunate thing with these really cheap ones. Obviously, I have a ton of them, so I could spare a few if I really wanted to. Oh, yeah, so I have a couple of different angled ones in there. I think these ones have just short angles, and these ones have long angles. So I do, I guess, have 4 styles of cheap tweezers. I'll most likely be donating these to Goodwill or something. I'm sure there's some crafter somewhere that would appreciate having a bunch of cheap tweezers, especially if they're in like a field of the craft, or in the craft area where they work with a lot of glues or stuff like that that can easily ruin their tweezers and they don't want to invest in a lot. Okay, so we talked about all of this stuff. Let's clean up our area. Now we're going to talk about multi-placers, and I will zoom in. I personally do not use multi-placers. I don't find that they give me a very clean look. Now, somebody who's a little bit more experienced with multi-placers probably has better luck making them work nice, but I find that I can't really get them to... you'll see when I demonstrate. It's like I said, it's probably my messy skills. So I got a sketchbook here for us and a heck of a mess to clean up. We'll do this and then we'll talk about fillers and then I will let you go. So I do have my Elmer's tape runner that I like to use for demonstration purposes, but I also did pick up this removable double-sided tape. I thought that that meant that it had paper on one side that I could remove. It just means that the tape itself can be removed. It's not permanent. So we'll use that because I need to get rid of it anyway. So we'll just lay a couple strips of that down and I'll demonstrate these multi-placers. Like I said, I don't like them. You use a lot of wax. I find that I still have to go in and straighten up my drills that they don't lay down in a line, and especially like you can use them on rounds, but with the spacing that you get on rounds, it's not really ideal. And I know my tape isn't on there straight, and that's the other reason I don't like this tape. You could see where the teeth tried to cut it, but it missed. Yeah, not cool. So all I brought up was rounds, so that's what we'll have to use, even though it's not the most ideal. Most people suggest only using multi-placers with squares, but like I said, rounds is what we got, so that's what we're gonna have to try. So when you're doing multi-placers, that's where you're gonna want to make sure that you're shaking your tray, getting everything all in a line, like getting them all face up, and then kind of giving it a little bit of a tap. So that you can easily pick them up. It's like those ones that are upside down like that. You're going to want to get out of your way because you'll go through the drills quickly. If you're not as OCD and anal as me, you will love multi-placers. I wish it's one of those things where when I'm doing a background that's a solid color, I wish I could just get over myself long enough to use one of these because it would significantly speed up the process. So you're working at either 3 times, 6 times, or 9 times the pace, depending on what end you have. And we'll demonstrate, because the 3, 6, and 9 are the most common, we'll demonstrate one of each of those. And and this is an easy way that you could practice if you weren't super confident in putting them on your canvas yet. Just use some double-sided sticky tape or some tacky glue that is quick drying but stays tacky for a while. Alright, I just want to make sure that that's laid nice and flat. It's most worthless glue I've ever used. But yeah, so I put all my wax in here because I was never going to use it. And I thought, well, if I ever do need it, then it's all right there for me. I got this idea. I saw Donnie do it once. And I thought, well, why not? We'll use up the diamond dot wax. And if I ever need any of this wax to refill this, it'll be easy. But I'm sure, when you're ordering canvases, you get a lot of it. So we need a drill pen. Let's just grab whatever one is available. Did I really put them all away? Come on. Oh, here we go. Alright, so typically these are attached at the end like that. Some people will even take, if they use them a lot, gosh, it does not want to come out. If they use multi-placers a lot, and depending on the area they need to fill, sometimes they'll take that tip off and have a double-ended multi-placer pen. I know some toolkits will even sell them like this. So we'll just keep it like this for now. So filling it, I would not recommend. If you're maybe if you're doing it a lot, then you'll want to use like this kind of stuff, but it's going to be so hard to fill that. So I mean, really you got to get in there, you got to push down and then kind of angle it And this is already, it's got so many holes in it that it easily, so then obviously it's sticking up a little bit. You got to make sure that that's nice and flush in there. So I just scrape it on my container. And it looks pretty good. So then you're just going to take that, and now mind you, I'm not the best. This is more or less just to show you what you can do with these. If you want some good tips and tricks on these, you're probably better out watching somebody who actually knows what they're doing when it comes to this. I can still see some wax hanging over, so I want to make that nice and flush. Oops, and then, okay, whatever. So, you just want to get them lined up. Whatever ones you're going to use, wherever you're going to go, you're going to take your drill pen, and most people recommend rocking it. Oops. You got to go quick. You have to have confidence, because it's when you go slow that you mess up. So just go directly on there, and you can see they're on there. And it's the same thing with, I don't know if they're going to let go onto this tape. If not, then we'll go to the Elmer's. Like I said, this tape is horrible. I don't recommend it at all. Most people say you have to have confidence, the same as picking them up as placing them. So you don't want to like hesitate, because that's when you make the most mistakes. You just want to set them down. Yeah, this tape is not good. Look at that. Okay. Ruining my demonstration, Scotch. Take 2. So again, you're going to want to have a little bit of confidence when you go in, and just go straight in. Don't hesitate, or you're not going to get them lined up. You want to just go straight in. And you can see there, they're not really nicely attached, because the 3-placer probably should only be picking up 2. And I might not even have enough wax in there. God dang it. This demonstration is a failure. Okay, so we get 2, because they're just too big for this. So then you just go straight down. I know it'd probably be better for you guys if I actually had a diamond painting here. I don't. I apologize. But you just go straight down, and then you can line them up that way. You just got to make sure you know where you're going with it. Cleaning them out can be a real pain in the butt. I like to clean them out I've only used them a couple of times, because I'm not real good with them on a diamond painting. So I just try to get that stuff out right away. So then the 6-placer is going to be very similar. You want to make sure that your wax is nice and good, and you want to just go straight down. If you're finding it's not filling your chamber, then you want to go straight down and then scrape. So it looks pretty full. So you can see how much wax you could potentially waste. So I'm just going to go down again, because it's not even. And I just like to scrape back and forth, and I do that even with my other filler. So then you're going to scrape it off and make sure it's nice and even across the top. You don't want that stuff leaking out, or it will pick up all kinds of stragglers. When the bigger the multi-placer you are using, the more I'm actually going to run my finger across the top, because you want that smooth. Because if it's uneven when you go to place those down onto your diamond painting, it could be the difference between having it nice and straight and having it off-center. So again, I'm just going to go for these 5 here, because rounds don't seem to want to go in here as easily. But you can see how you have the potential to waste a ton of wax. See, and I hesitated, but I was still able to grab, and it looks like if I wanted to, I could grab a couple more. So we'll see what happens. We'll try that. Oops. So you just want to make sure that your drills are on there nice and straight before you go put them on your diamond painting, which is another reason I don't really care for these, is because they're, if you don't, practice makes perfect, and I haven't taken the time to practice. But you can see I got them on there pretty okay. They're a little crooked. You can straighten them out, because you want them to be in the straightest line possible. And then we'll get nice and close here. And some people say rock it on there like this. Some people say to go straight down. I tend to like to roll it. And then if you don't put a lot of pressure down, then you can straighten them out really quick before you know, then you can just put pressure down on them to straighten them up. But that's where I run into troubles, is I can't get them straight to save my life. They're straight on here because I have no prior or no designated spot that says it has to go right there. I'll save that wax because that's literally all the wax I have in this. So the 9-placer, I mean, the bigger the multi-placer you're trying to use, the more room for error there is, and I don't think I'm going to fit that in there. So let's just take some out, make a little snake out of it, and I'll put it on top of this jar. Let's try that. I mean, this thing is just ridiculous. But you can definitely see how this would be faster. If you got the hang of it and you were well versed in how to use it and you were able to pick up drills with it fairly easily, you could see how this could really speed up time. See, but for me, it's about quality, not quantity. So I'd rather take my time and make sure that they're placed down there really nicely than to try to do it as fast as I can. I like to spend time with my diamond paintings, because once they're done, they're done. Unless you're trying to whip out a whole bunch of them, I just don't see a point in forcing yourself to go super fast. Some people see that point, some people prefer that. There's nothing wrong with either way. Alright, so I finally got that full. Look at all that wax in there. Holy crap. And they are easy to clean out, at least. But I do find that with this method, you do go through a lot of wax, because you have to fill it up a lot. Now, I got a nice big straight line there. I got one upside down that could get in the way. Move that. Nice big line there. Let's just go straight down on it. No hesitation, folks. There we go. It looks pretty good. Doesn't look like I have to fix anything. I got one hanging off on the end, but I think it'll be okay. So like I said, the more drills you have on there, the bigger it's going to be, or the more mistake you could possibly make. So you can, like I said, go straight down, so long as you know where you want to place them. I could see maybe with squares. I might try to do some experimenting with squares. But the reason I say you go through it so much is you can see it's all indented now. And that might not be as easy to pick up your next row. So you can see that gap there. That would be a fail. You'd have to take those two off. But that's if you're doing multi-placers like that. So I got that. There's only 4, but there's a gap on the end. So you're going to want to line that up next to your row, and then go ahead and place it. See, and I jostled, that's where it got unstraight, because I hesitated just the slightest bit. But it's, if you don't put a lot of pressure down, it's easy to move them. And there you go. So, and again, to clean it, you're just going to take something sharp. It doesn't have to be your tweezers. It could be a toothpick. It could be anything that will get in there. And you just run your tweezer along there, and it comes pretty clean. Alright, so let's talk about some other fillers here. And the ones that I have 2 of the Blu-Tack. This is the Jot poster tack from the dollar stores. It works okay. It's not my favorite because it is really, like, stringy, I guess, and, like, it can stretch and stretch and stretch forever, which is not good inside of a drill pen. And then we get we have the original Loctite Blu-Tack here, which is what most people started out using. And then when people discovered Aleene's poster tack, they fell in love with this. And then I found Elmer's at Michael's, and I thought, why not try it out? And like I said, I grabbed a little bit of each, put it all into a ball, and smashed it into an old makeup, an eyeshadow tin that I had laying around. and I smashed them all in there, and I like to have a nice mix of them. I think that that works the best for me personally. So with this one, we got our nice empty pen here. I try to find a spot where I know I'm going to get all three. I just kind of go in there. Yeah, I turn it in circles, wiggle it back and forth, scrape it to break it away. Because if you don't do that, and you try to go straight in on it, it's going to pull out, and it's not going to come apart very easily. Like it did just there. It didn't want to fill it. So, my favorite out of all of these, I guess it would be between the Elmers and the Aliens. I like both of them. It tends to last longer. It's not as hard of a stick. Like, if you've heard in some videos when people use the Blu-Tack, you get that, like, really tacky noise. Let's see. You can get that with the Aliens, too, but let's see if we can break enough off. This is the other reason I don't like this one from the dollar store, is look at it, it's all over. It's so hard to clean up. But all I do to empty out my pen, so I don't have to have a drill off to the side, is I just use whatever container. That's why I like this one. This is one from that kit. It won't stay closed. It's got a gap on it. I just like to run my pen right on the side, right there, and that gets off all the extra. But with this one from the dollar store, it's just terrible. I don't know if we'll be able to make that same, but the Blu-Tack people like that because it's got that pucker, that noise. It's louder when you're actually on a diamond painting and it's flush and flat, but it'll have that noise that people like, that they find pleasing. And the white and the Aliens and the Elmers will do that too, but they're not as strong of a pull as these ones. So, okay, so we went over a lot of stuff. I rambled an awful lot. So, the point of it all is, I just wanted to talk about drill pens. They're the most important part, I feel, of diamond painting. You really can't do it without some kind of drill pen or tweezers. I use a combination of both. And maybe not on rounds. On rounds, I just use a drill pen. But on squares, I like to do both. I feel like I get the best look by using both. If I could only pick one poster tack, it would be the Elmers. I liked it the best. It doesn't leave any residue on my drills. A multitude of specialty pens on the market. Do I think you need any of them? Absolutely not. I use this one, and I'm happy with it. But it's all about making your experience enjoyable. If having a specialty pen makes it more enjoyable for you, then by all means do it. I just haven't found one that's my thing yet. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't found that one diamond painting pen that I just can't live without, that makes my experience enjoyable. I like to experiment with other ones, and ever since Fred died, I haven't had another one that's come into my life that has enhanced my diamond painting experience. So I'm not knocking anybody who likes specialty pens whatsoever. It's all about making your experience the best for you. I'm not even saying that you need specialty poster tack, but this is one of the things that does enhance my diamond painting experience, is having poster tack. Obviously, I have a ton of it, and it's lasted me forever. I can fill my pen like once every couple of days. Even when it gets dirty, I find all I have to do is take my sharp tweezers or a toothpick, and all I do is kind of just stir it inside of there. And then if you're noticing that it's getting underneath, all you have to do is take a tweezers very gently, kind of twist it, and you can pull that off without damaging your tip. But be gentle, and then you can pull it out from inside of there. Ooh, went blurry on you, sorry. And some of these are not like this. You see how it's got that? Some of them are the same width all the way down. This one just isn't. So cleaning these out, all I do again is I take a toothpick, or I find that my super sharp tweezers work, which is probably also why they get bent so easily, but and then I just scrape it all out and it's as clean as can be. Wipe that end off. I don't really have that much more to contribute. If you have some awesome tips and tricks with pens. Oh yeah, I did say that one thing I like using these for is my nail art. These are the best thing I've ever come across for nail art. So that's one hack. And another good hack, if you use the poster tack, the reason that pick-me-up pen was made was to help pick up paper and paper scraps. For people, you know, when you work with paper a lot, you get dry hands. So, it's the same thing with your drill pen. You just fill that with wax. Well, I'm on a really weird surface, and it's not full all the way, but you can use these to help you pick things up. If you, maybe not, I got mostly white in there, and the white doesn't work that well for that, but the stronger tack does. So, you'll just have to believe me, I can't demonstrate that. So yeah, there is so many things in the area of drill pens. I find that the ones that say that they're specifically for square are very gimmicky, and I have found that they don't make my diamond painting experience better. They don't make it worse either, though. This one is very bulky. Some people might not mind the bulkiness. Some people might like that. I need that. I think that's why just the standard drill pen has worked so well for me, because it's thin and I can see what I'm doing really easily for the way that I hold my pen. I think maybe if I had a different writing style, it might be the case, might be a little bit different, but I don't, so it isn't. But yeah, any tips or tricks that you have. I know this one wasn't super informative. It was more or less, I mean, this video isn't going to be helpful to anybody that's been diamond painting for an extended period of time. This is, out of all of the Exploring the Essentials videos, this one was the most beginner-friendly one out of all of them. There's so many things that can go along with diamond painting pens. So if you have questions, something I did not cover, I'm sure there is stuff, please feel free to ask down below. I don't really have anything else to contribute as far as this stuff goes. You can find a lot of this stuff linked in my Amazon influencer page, all the extra stuff. And again, if anybody has any ideas to help me make this into a diamond painting pen, just keep in mind it twists off. I don't know what kind of mechanism is inside, so sorry I couldn't be more helpful in that aspect. But I'm sure anybody who's made pens like this will be able to help me out. They'll know, they'll have an idea of the mechanisms inside. So I have a huge mess to clean up, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Yeah, so the very next video will be my top 10 tips and tricks. And in my last video, Drill With Me, I asked if you have tips and tricks that you want to share with the community that you think are useful. Please share them down below. I'll screenshot them and I will be airing them in that video. I'll do one of my tips, and then I'll do a subscriber tip. One of my tip, one of the comment tips. So it'll be a community collaboration. So if you want your name blocked out, let me know that too. I am more than happy to accommodate you in any way. But alright guys, with that I will let you go. Have an awesome day, friends. Have fun diamond painting. Have fun crafting. Have fun doing whatever it is that makes you happy. I love you, friends, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.